Hey everybody, it's Bust, and today we're going to be playing Secret Mage and Wild. And so, Secret Mage is a deck that's near and dear to my heart. This is the deck that I think I had probably my highest ladder finish in Hearthstone with, also in the Wild format, and I think we finished somewhere inside of the top 50 the last time I was really grinding kind of hard at the game. But it's a deck that's near and dear to my heart. It's one that I truly love. If you're not familiar with what's happening with Secret Mage, the big thing it lets you do is just cheat on mana. Whenever we're talking about a new set release and we're trying to evaluate the new cards coming out of a set, one of the big things I always look for are cards that let you cheat, cards that let you break the rules of the game, whether or not that's generating new cards, drawing cards, or as we're going to be seeing here, reducing the cost of cards or changing the cost, letting you play them cheaper than you normally would. So either being able to generate more mana or reduce the cost of cards in hand to make them cheaper. And that cost reduction is what really comes about with the deck like Secret Mage. So we have units like Kabal Lackey that reduce the cost of the next secret, the Anonymous Informant making the next one free, and then the Ancient Mysteries to where you draw one and then it costs 0. So you get that 1 mana cost reduction in terms of the secret. But that's not all you get. The big high-powered plays that we get out of this deck also involve cost reduction, with the Contract Conjurer costing 3 less for each secret you control. So if we have 2 secrets on the board, he's going to be free. And then the Cabal Crystal Runner, which costs 2 less for each secret you've played this game. So after you've played your 3rd secret, the Crystal Runner is free to play. And so the way that we look to sequence out all of these games is we like to come down and get some early game aggression, typically Mana Wyrm being the big attacker, but we do have a good number of 1-drops in here that can drop some of those early plays. Then we're going to try and spew out our hand, try and get as many of these secrets on the board as fast as we can, using those cards like Anonymous Informant to get the cost reduction, to get them down on the cheap and free. But as you can imagine, as you draw all these cards and then put them onto the board at the cheap and cost, you run out of a hand very quickly. So our late game kind of spreads out in 2 separate ways. We have a bunch of card draw in here with cards like Stargazer Luna letting us play the right card in our hand over and over again, or Aluneth to draw 3 cards on each of the turns. So we have these ways to immediately refill our hand after we dump it all out at those reduced costs. And then we do have a bit of burn that we can use to finish off the games with the explosive runes blowing up onto the opposing unit and dealing damage to face, or the Firelands Portal being out here to go straight to the nugget or blow up a unit and get a big boy on board. And so that's it. That's the deck we're doing battle with today, but before the battles begin, you know what we got to do? We got to turn something premium, and I think we still have enough gems on here. I don't know. This seems like a pretty reasonable card to upgrade. Oh, we're short today. All right, well, not today. We'll come back and do that another time. I assume as we try to jump into Wild, it's going to be something to where we have to buy a bunch of cards, and so we'll look to hold off on paying to win just a little bit. But nonetheless, sorry for the kind of lack of content. The Super Bowl came about and really got in the way. it just kind of is what it is. If you're out here, living in Kansas City and the Super Bowl runs around, then it's something that you get kind of interested in and interested in dealing with. And that's essentially what happened to me, as to where we were going to have a get together, and then of course you have to clean the house and make a bunch of food, and then the people come over and you have to prepare for all that and stuff. And then as the game came about and went to overtime, kept me up way past my 9 o'clock bedtime, and so that really kind of ground into my next day and messed with my ability to come out and make content. And so it was a bit of a struggle, but I think I should be back to the regularly scheduled moments and not having as much problems. All right, though, opponents coming at us with pirates. Patches, I haven't seen you in so long, but let's go ahead and get as much as we can on board at this point. We're going to have to just try and prevent every point of damage that we can from this point forward. So we'll get the Mana Wyrm on board with the bonus stat. We'll get the secret drawer on the board. I don't have super high expectations for what Costume Singer is going to be able to do, but we do need to just get something on board, try and prevent a little bit of the damage coming at us. We can't let the time pass on without actually spending any of our mana here. Oh man, I got a cat trying to hang out. The old Bernard digging his claws into me. It's been a while since he's been on here. Let's get him up here. You say, what up, world? What up, everybody? It's been a while since the Black Kitty's been on the been on the screen. But all right, interesting angles the opponent took. I was not expecting him to throw away so many of his units. I expected the 3/1 to go into our Mana Wyrm, but I did not expect patches to come off of the board. And so, interesting there. Let's just pick up the unit that can currently trade with what he has. See if we can't get something that maybe lets us slow him down just a little bit. I mean, Kidnap could be the decent one. We have all of these unit stopping ones, but we don't have any way to actively deal with what's on the board. Maybe it is just taking the snipe since it's going to be cheaper. All right. I'm not super amped about it. We're still falling pretty far behind, but if we get something that lets us put a unit on board for free, then we can, or put a secret on board for free, then we can catch up kind of quick. Time to visit my face place. Is that what we're doing now? And a Dread Corsair. Damn. I was gonna say I didn't think he was going to play a unit there, so if he didn't play the unit, we would have had the chance to recover. Now this is an interesting pickup, right? With the Arcane Flakmage coming in, lets us deal the AoE damage to the opposing units. That's what we're going to have to try to shoot for, but we can't currently get a secret on board. We're gonna have to save this for next turn, and I'm definitely not adding it to the board now. And so I think I am kind of okay putting down Kabal Lackey, right? I'm going to send the 2/2 in here. I'm going to hero power so it gets taken down. But then I want to play the Lackey just to have a unit on board, because we're still going to be able on this next turn to play the Flak Mage and the Snipe. So we should be able to get a little bit of an AoE down. And then if he wants to attack our Kabal Lackey with one of these units instead of attacking our face, then that feels like a win to me. It says, watch this bust. I'm going right to the face. Yeah, this is definite struggles here. I don't think we're going to be able to come back out of this. We don't have any taunts in here. We're not playing ice blocks or anything, but we'll see. Maybe we can spike something. Firelands Portal not looking too spectacular this game. Not looking too spectacular. Bad, not bad. Probably should have just conceded a long time ago, but we'll see. We'll see what turns up. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Just already having it in hand. Just a little bit too slow though. I'm curious if we would have been able to come off of that. If we were on the play and not on the coin. That is a pretty tough run to try and get in front of when they have 2 of the free 2/2 that comes on board. But still, a lot of this stuff's pretty new to me. Old patches existed back in my day, but these free play units did not. All right, what do we got here? Another reasonable opener with the Mana Wyrm and the Sketchy Stranger. The Sketchy Stranger I was initially kind of not thrilled about, but then there's been a lot of real power in just like picking up a 1-mana Paladin secret and just to get the secret on board. Like as you have these contract Conjurer kind of units that just don't care and just want the secret down, and so. I've been interested in that sense. Oh shit! I've gotten. I was just expecting a random card to come into my hand, and so I just started clicking. I just started doing stuff, and that's not what was happening there. That's okay though. We're still fighting through. And so, again, like if we'd picked up a 1-cost secret, I didn't quite see what was there, but if we had a 1, we could play the 1 next turn, the 3 next turn, and then have the contract Conjurer come down for free. Not quite going to be able to do that here, but that's the kind of thing we're building towards. Otherwise, I'm not super certain what the combo card is with the Caverns Below. He hasn't been doing any shadow stepping at this point, and so I guess these Spark Bots are it. The thing you just put 3 copies of into his hand. Helps you get those down pretty fast, I guess. But yeah, as I started jumping into Wild, it's definitely felt good that we got to kick things off with the Pauper Twist format, just not having to figure out what all of these damn cards are. It's made it a little easier. It's going to take me a bit of time to get it all figured out. Sing just 3? What was this? Deal 1 for each other card you played this turn? Not bad. Alright, so now we can get our big boy on board, this Contract Conjurer. We picked up the Kabal Lackey. Gonna let us play the Explosive Runes for 1. Make sure to get that in the right order, because then we can follow up the Ambush for 2, and we can get our 6/6 down on the cheap. And we probably just want to kill this smaller unit over here to the left, right? I don't think this is the time to be doing aggro stuff. We might already be too far behind at this point, but I'm learning, you know. And man, one of the things that was super exciting to me is they did come out with Blizzard came out with the 10-year anniversary kind of preview. And very hyped to see that be a thing, coming out of a game that just died at the 4-year mark. It's nice to see the game, have the longevity and have what should be a very prosperous future. And so, if we're really looking to dedicate ourselves to jumping into a game after the death of Legends of Runeterra, it feels kind of nice to be over in the space of one that's been around for 10 and seems like it's going to be around for much longer. Alright, what are these things? Rush unit, you got it. Doing things, sure. Alright, well, not a ton we can do about this stuff. Portal should pop. I'm going to spend all of our mana. Can't stop his combo. We don't have any AoEs, so we got to assume that this stealth bot's going to be coming back to hand, back on board, and then activating the crystal core. But without a preparation, I assume preparation's still around to make it cost 3 less. I don't think he can pop off this turn. Maybe he is. I wonder if we'll get the chance to try and counterspell his counter. What, did he just cycle it away? What the hell is that? Still waiting on stuff here. There. Replace your hand with 4 cards in your deck. Oh, it gets it back next turn. Gotcha. It's like, LOL, it's gotta be super sweet. It's like, you get the crystal core and then just discard it. That sounds weird. But then I was like, well, maybe we'll get the counter spell on it. Oof. Oh, fam. That's how the pros do it right there. Do we want to give up our poisonous unit on the turn to where... I'm not certain. It's like he's so close in terms of like playing the crystal core and then getting the 5/5s on board. Oh, get wrecked, bro. LOL. LOL. It was like, but if he's going to do something like prep first, then we counterspell the prep, then he plays the thing and starts getting 5/5s on the board, then having our poisonous unit's probably more useful than having a 3/5. Yeah, man. Another interesting thing is I still follow the Legends of Runeterra Twitter crowd. The salt has died down quite a bit. I think for the most part, everyone has got to like the acceptance stage of the 5 stage or the 7 stages of grief, and they're out here moving on and stuff. And I see a lot of people that have tried to jump into Magic. Right, that's where I was initially going to go back to as well, because there is such a like burgeoning competitive scene within Magic. There's the end game tournaments within the client. They have the opens like you had in Runeterra. Then there's the Pro Tour and all the stuff going on in the paper space. But man, the resource system, having your game resources within your deck, is just such a pain in the dick. Like you just have so many games that are non-games that it was a real bummer to get into that. It's like, oh yeah, here's a game to where I've mulliganed and I'm just out of it. And then here's a game to where the opponent's mulliganed twice and they're just out of it. And here's a game to where I kept a 2-lander with a bunch of 3-drops and it's turn 4 of the game and I haven't drawn another land. Like it's just there's so many places to where you're making like technically strong and technically correct plays, and then the RNG is just so super bad. Due to the way the resources work, that it just doesn't feel good. And I'm curious, like the number of people that have really tried to make the switch. Like I think Yu-Gi-Oh may be in the kind of same vein as Hearthstone and stuff, to where I think Yu-Gi-Oh everything just costs free anyways. I might be wrong on that, but I think it's definitely not a game to where your resources are in your deck like you have with let's just go ahead and lead off with Mana Wyrm. I always worry about just dropping the Singer first. I like to imagine that we can get extra value out of it. But no, like I'm pretty confident that, if you like grew up with Pokemon or you grew up with Magic and you were just used to how shitty life can be in terms of in terms of playing these games, to where let's take the ambush. I kind of want the unit. Your resources are in deck, and then you switch to a game like Runeterra, and you're like, oh, that's kind of a neat system here with the spell mana and everything. But then, like, if you've never played a game like Magic or Pokemon, and then you try and pick one up, and you're just like, holy shit, this is super fucking clunky. Like, didn't anyone ever figure out a better way to do this? And they did. And so, but it seems like to me it's always a younger crowd that has decided to make the move away from to make the move away from. Let's just come in now. Hearthstone into Magic, and then be like, yeah, it's not for me. That's not it. That's not doing it. All right, opponent doing a bunch of card draw stuff. Gotta stop and actually read these at some point. Oh, we didn't actually do anything. So we get to pop off. So we definitely get to like play the Informant and then get a spell down for free. It's gonna be Counterspell, but I mean, I guess we can lead off with the Sketchy Stranger and see what turns up. You do have to worry a little bit that you have to worry a little bit that he's gonna play some kind of AoE. And he does have coin in hand, so he can coin through a counterspell here. So if it's like if he wants to play Hellfire next turn, he can coin, have coin get counterspelled, and then play Hellfire afterwards. But I mean, I don't know if people still play that. we should have a pretty good go about it in terms of stopping whatever he's going for here. That was nice. What was this thing try to do? Just gives up. LOL. Oh man, it's like playing in the normal queue in Runeterra. I loved Akaido's take on the normal queue as to where the players do their absolute hardest to just not win the game. It's so you don't play any interactivity. Like you get mad if your opponent plays interactivity. You don't play any of your own, and you just sit around and try and build big engines and make a big unit or a big board full of stuff and never actually try and win. That's what it feels like whenever we're counterspelling off our opponent's key cards. They're just like, I'm out here trying to do something cool and Bust is playing counterspells. LOL. Alright, now we got the guy out here with the pirate icon. You gotta assume he's playing pirates, right? I don't know how our deck can really look better against it. I mean, the strongest thing that we're going to have against pirates is going to be, excuse me, the Flakmage. But I don't feel like super strong, just hard mulliganing for it. And then I don't imagine we're going to get that Conjurer on board for free. Seems kind of tough to do. We did pick up the Flakmage, though. All right, I did the mathematics. That's probably not pirates anymore. I don't think it is. What's this thing? At the end of your turn, deal 1 to all minions. Last 3 turns. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we got to slow it down. It seems pretty bad. Like, I don't want to just be playing rando secrets. I want to be playing them for free. I want to be out here cheating and stuff. So that was his second one. He's got one more to go. Then I guess we can start putting units on the board. All right, we'll go with the portal. I feel like there's a decent chance that he plays a spell, lets us get on board. A 4-cost minion, we probably don't have to worry about so much in terms of his 1 damage thing killing it. Yeah, just like random 4/4. Now we can start to pop a little bit. So let's see. We have the 2 secrets in hand. We can play the Lackey. Play secret. Wait. Oh shit! I thought we were gonna have the mana. How did I mess that? Oh, back in my day, back in boomer times, the Kabal Lackey made things free. It didn't make them cost 1, and so I thought that we were gonna be able to play the Lackey, play the thing for free, and then get the other secret down. The fuck was that nonsense? Deal 5 damage to a minion, then split 5 damage among all enemy minions. God, man. Where's this nonsense coming from? Alright, I would say at this point the game is probably just done. We're probably just dead. We'll see what happens with our costume singer here. But my expectations are pretty low given the way that this went. He just has a million cards in hand, and we don't have the ways to fight through it. Like, if we pick up Aluneth or something next turn, we might be able to power through. But it doesn't feel good. Like, playing against this random Control Warrior deck, adding our AoE guy and doing no AoEs and stuff, like, this is just a terrible way to go at it. Zing. Get that damage in though, huh? Oh, that cat smells like ass. Had that cat over here. No, it's starting to, the stinks are starting to roll around. That's my life, I guess. Alright, well, we got a dude on board. If he kills off the 6/6, we'll just call it a day. Again, he's got like a million cards in hand. We're not going to be recovering out of this.
No matter the danger, I'll always give a good discovery.
Alright, you made it this far, friend. You're doing good. Maybe we can counterspell whatever the next unit is. Find our way through. Okay. He's gonna drop an 8-drop for the double battle cry. We're gonna get the unit counterspell. Then we're gonna attack him down to 4, and it's not gonna be enough. It's not gonna be enough. And what's this guy do? The fuck? Gain 1/1 for each damaged enemy and then attack all enemies. Not that bad. Not that bad, my dude. Do you ever think we can get the draw 2 off of Hidden Wisdom? Like, I don't think Dark Trap is the answer. It is, kind of close to being a game finisher. But I don't know. It's we are getting to the point to where he does have a fuckload of mana, so it's not that challenging for him to play 3 cards in the same turn. But it's like he's like, oh cool, here's a 6-drop, a 1-cost card, and a hero power. Like it's kind of easy to get around activating that secret to where I don't entirely know what all's in this format, but it's not crazy to think he's going to attack one of these units again. He's going to gain 4 armor from these dum-dums. This is going to gain 1 million armor for these dum-dums. Alright. Sure thing, I guess. And he's drawing like 1 million cards? Jesus Christ. Oh no, we got Luna, but we don't have any cards in hand. God damn it. Okay. Right? After you play your rightmost card, you get to draw a card, but we don't have any cards to play. That was our turn. That was our angle. This is bullshit. Dredge. I don't know what that even does. You got to come back to these cards. I knew what Brann does because people bitch about him so much, but felt like we were close to getting there. Alright, there you go, fam. What do you do? Spell burst. Cast a spell from your deck. Targets this if possible. That's probably not exactly what we want, but we gotta get something going, huh? Alright, there's a unit. What the fuck does this thing do? When your opponent draws a card next turn, they take 2 damage. Oh. Alright, GG, I guess. Alright, let's get ourselves one more battle in. So we're trying to figure out what this stuff does. GG. But no, that's tough. That was a bad way for the mulligans to fall. The guy bamboozled me with his pirate his pirate icon not playing pirates, and so kind of is what it is. Sure, we'll get a good one here in the last game, though. Another Warlock player. Probably just play Counterspell and get him to concede. Just get him to concede right away. I'd kind of like to have a 1-drop. I feel like we can get rid of something here, but let's just keep it and see how it goes.
I see you brought guests.
Alright, Mana Wyrm, do your thing. We're going to do all the Mana Wyrm combos with the Ancient Mysteries. It's going to feel great. Gonna feel great. All the objections. See if we can't get one of these 7-power Mana Wyrms, right? We gotta. Back in my day, back in my time, people played stuff like Primordial Glyphs. And that was your kind of premier way to level up your Mana Wyrms. How do we want to go about this? Would we rather just pick up Cat Trick? Good chance it's just the best unit here.
It'll be our little secret.
Job's done.
Alright, we'll see how that goes. people out here playing removal spells. Why would you do that? Why? Why would you play removal spells?
They're on to us. I'm late.
We got our first big boy, though. Things continue on. I mean, it's kind of nice if you're able to get Luna down and then start playing giant units for free. Not certain if that'll be the way we can pull this off, but give us an option. Give a Counterspell a little 1/1. I think this will still be okay. It's whenever you pick up these cards like the one cost thing and you're holding onto the Luna, you kind of start tingling in your special place, knowing that you can that you can run some of these extra spells off. But yeah, of course, Firelands Portal turns up on a turn like this.
The future is ours.
Maybe we'll be okay now, though. We got the unit counterspell, the spell counterspell. Gotta feel a little safe. He's just been playing expensive shit all game.
Can you feel the gift of the sun?
Get wrecked everywhere, bro. That's what you're supposed to say, right? Get wrecked everywhere. Oh my gosh, we hit the explosive runes along with another counterspell. That's what life's about right there. That's what life's about. Get fucked, dude. What level of mads he's about to get. Alright, counterspell. Now play a unit. Uh-oh, if you're life tapping, this game's done. This game's done. Do we need to read this? Add thing to hand. Mana thirst. Don't know what any of those words mean. We got him. Zinged him real good. GG. Well played. We'll pull this up and talk about it a little bit more. And so, yeah, I mean, it's tough at this point. As we play through these games, like, I'm wildly unaware as to what a lot of these cards are. Like, when we were playing Legends of Runeterra and going from Expedition into Constructed, like, you at least still knew what all the cards were, right? We played all the cards in Expedition, and then you're just moving into the Constructed format after that. So it's like you don't have to learn everything all over again. And that's been kind of like my pain point coming back to Hearthstone, is like, I don't want to learn Standard. Like, Standard, it's not bad, it's just not something I've ever been like really, really hype about in the space of Hearthstone. I really like the Wild format. But now it's like, as we jump back into Wild, having not played the game for 5 or 6 years, there's just a massive swath of cards that I'm not aware that even exist. And then there's been so many like nerfs and changes to things. Like Cabal Crystal Runner was a 5/5 back in my day, and so it was it was just getting a point of attack makes it a little bit different. But we'll get there. You give me a couple weeks, I'll know what the cards are, and give me a couple months, and we'll be doing well on the ladder. You just got to give me some time to get there. We'll still tell you about football and deviled eggs and shit along the way, but it's a little sloppy until we get to that point. But nonetheless, as far as this deck goes, I was pretty happy with it. No real complaints. I think in this day and age, like, cards like Mana Wyrm probably just aren't good enough. I feel like the stat efficiency that you used to get out of something like this is probably just eclipsed by the strength of all the cards in the format, and so it's probably not that good. And then running into something like Firelands Portal today, this was just way too expensive. And so if you are looking to take this deck into the space of Wild, those are the first places I would look to really cut things out, is just to probably put in some kind of cheaper value-based unit in the place of Mana Wyrm, something that comes onto the board and draws a card, and then Firelands Portal was just too expensive, and so another cheapo play. It's like, I don't know if Frostbolt is the answer. You know, it doesn't feel like those cheap burn spells are really the bee's knees anymore, but those are the only places where I felt like kind of bad with this deck, and I was actually pretty happy with everything else. Ramping up to these Contract Conjurers and Cabal Crystal Runners as fast as you can, and then having the disruption out of the secrets all feels pretty good. But nonetheless, good set of games. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. I had a good time watching. This is Bustin' Me. Thank you for being here.